We have Jerry Slusowicz here, who is on behalf of Pacific Financial Planners, and he is going to help you with your financial needs today. Well, welcome. How are you?
Doing great, Lisa. How are you?
Good, good.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And you know, financial needs, financial future, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into figuring it all out, and that's what you guys do at Pacific Financial Planners. And so today, let's just have a brief kind of overview of what you've been working with people on these last couple months.
Right. Well, I'm doing this talking segment about taking back your financial future because this year has been so different than the last dozen or so, where interest rates went to zero, basically negative. CD rates, you know, the banks were paying nothing, bonds were paying nothing. You had Fed chairmen telling seniors that they needed to put their money in the stock market, and many of them did to try to get their return. And that was okay in the 2015, 16, 17, and it worked out because the stock market went up and these dividends paid and all that. But this year, things have changed dramatically. Right. The stock market's down 20 to 30%, depending on if you're looking at the S&P or the NASDAQ. Right. And a lot of these seniors still have way too much money in the stock market. Right. And they're not really looking at the big financial picture as well. Things like, you know, how things are titled for their estate, looking at their taxes, looking at how they're going to pay for health care with the rising costs of inflation. Right. And people see it. They see the gas prices going up and the food prices going up. And so their investments are at risks. They don't have an income plan. And what we try to do is take all those different things and put it together in something we're calling Take Back Your Financial Future.
And we have a slide on the screen that pretty much exasperates what you're already talking about, you know, income, growth, healthcare, tax, estate. And then one thing I don't see there is Social Security. And the reason why I ask that is because the administrations have been talking about taking away some of Social Security to fund other things. Now, that must be very frightening for a senior.
It is, but I don't think that they're going to take it away. Now, might there be some means test where if you're making a certain income where more of it becomes taxable, then that's true. Okay. But the Social Security Trust Fund, we could do a whole segment on this one.
Yeah, we might have to.
Is scheduled to run out of money in 2034. And so that's what, another 12 years? And so if nobody, Congress, doesn't do anything about it, then yes, seniors will only get 75 cents on the dollar from either what they're getting today or if you haven't applied for Social Security, what shows on your paper. But in 1984, Lisa, they had the same type of program and they came up with a 50-year plan, hence 2034. So I believe there's things that they will do to not make that go away.
Well, you kind of wish they would say it in the same sentence, right? Because you've got one over here saying one thing and then you don't hear about it. So of course, I immediately go into a panic because I might retire in the next 10 years, right? I mean, all of us who are thinking about it, you're like, well, maybe I can't, right? So with that said, let's talk about some things that you're going over with most of your people now to be able to not be fearful about your future. So you've got, you know, we talked about the interest rate. So now what about having a plan? What do you want us to do?
Well, you've got to have a plan for income. When you give up, when you do retire, Lisa, and you stop making, you know, the big money,
That's right.
you've got to figure out how you're going to replace that.
Yeah.
Where is it going to come from? How durable is that money? How long will that money last? Like Social Security, for example. Some people have pensions. Okay, that'll pay. But if you have money coming from your investments, how reliable is that investment source? How long will that pay? When should you draw Social Security? You could draw anytime between 62 and 70. Right. And once you start, you're kind of in. You got 1 year to change your mind, and then after that, you can't do it. And if you do change your mind, you got to pay all the money back, even the amount that was held for Medicare payments. You got to pay the gross amount back. So it's so important to have an income plan, and some of that gets involved with taxes as well. Right. Because, you know, you have $1 million in a retirement plan, you know, that's not $1 million because you haven't paid taxes on it.
Right, right.
So there's strategies where you can delay Social Security and get a higher amount of Social Security later by drawing from your retirement now. And then at 72, once you start having to be in the RMD, then there's not a lot you can do. But a lot of people between 50 and 72 have more control over taxes than they ever will in their life, and they better start making a tax plan as well. It's so important as part of your income.
So what do you mean a tax plan? So for instance, you know, I have a paycheck now, and they take out taxes that go to various things, you know, the Fed, the state, and all that stuff. And then when you buy and sell stock, you pay taxes on that. So there's taxes coming from everywhere.
Yeah, they're going to get you no matter what.
No matter what.
That's why it's important to have a plan, because there's 3 types of taxes. And people talk about diversification until they're blue in the face, but they don't realize that there's tax diversification as well. Taxed always is your investment plan, whether it's in your name or in your family trust or however you have that structured. And then you have tax deferred, which is where 80% of most people have their money in an IRA. You know, it's tax deferred until you draw that out.
Right.
It's taxable when it comes out. And some people think, well, I'm going to hold that till I'm 72 when they force me to start taking it out. Some people who aren't on Social Security yet, that might not be the best strategy. You might want to allow your Social Security to compound, and so you take it later at a higher amount and take some money out of there originally. But very few people have in a taxed never situation, income tax free always, tax free municipal bonds, which right now, with interest rates having gone up, municipal bonds, treasuries.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get a 1-year treasury at 4% state tax free.
Yep.
You could do municipal bonds and get 3 to 4% state and federally tax free. There's some things out there that are pretty good, and these inflation bonds that we've talked about before, they're still paying 9% for the next few months.
Well, and they probably will, right, going forward, because they're still raising rates.
Even if it goes down to 7 or 8, who cares?
That's
it's
better
still
than your CD.
Guaranteed by the federal government, state tax free.
That's the key.
So having money in tax free, like a Roth IRA, is something you can do and say, well, gosh, I want some money in a never taxed situation. So you could put your money, as long as you're working, that's $7,000 as long as you're over age 50, which I'm not sure you are. So, you know, you could put that money in a Roth IRA and have that money never taxed. So having that diversification of tax buckets is very, very important.
That is really good information. And, you know, like you said, I think we could break that down in a whole show too. So maybe we should do that, because I think it's really important for everyone to truly understand, you know, going forward, because I think it's very frightening right now. It's very volatile, and you never know what's going to happen. So who knows? I mean, we get a little panicky.
Well, again, and it's most reflected in the stock market. And as I review people here in the village, their portfolios, what I find, Lisa, is people have far too much money in the stock market today.
Okay.
And they just do. And there's risk tolerance, and then there's risk appropriateness. And people got to be able to sleep at night. And that stock market is still risky. I think a lot of people need to take control today with a today plan, because it is different.
It is. And we don't know how much difference it's going to be even within the next 5 to 10 years. So it's a good, secure plan. Like you call it, safe income today, which is your key. Let's talk about your financial forum that happens every month, and that's coming up next week. And it really is something where I like the fact that you said, okay, people have too much money in their stock market. Well, maybe there's people in the village who want to know how to change that. So can't they go to this forum and figure that out?
It's free for everybody. There's no obligation. You don't even need to. You can come in and be a fly on the wall. If you want to participate, you can. Nobody's asking for your name, your phone number. You can do whatever you want to do, and you learn. Not only is there a little bit of a lecture portion of it all that's very interactive, but then we go around and it's seniors helping seniors. Everybody just gets to participate. You can ask a question if you feel like it. And not only me, an expert in 35 years, but other seniors who've gone through it that are right there with you can answer your questions. So
it's like a financial support group.
That's exactly what it is. We call it the forum, kind of the discussion.
That's right. And that's good.
Last Tuesday of the month, 3 to 5, Clubhouse 5, Room 1.
And they can just show up.
show up.
Okay. All right, good. How's it been? It's been good?
Yeah, I think we might need a bigger room because you're helping me with this program
good.
because I think people hear it and want to
Yeah.
come. I've just got to work with the rec department to get a little bit of a bigger room for
Well,
next
that's
year.
good news. That's actually great news. Well, I'm
Thank you.
very happy that you were able to join us today and talk to us about all these different things to help ease our mind about going forward with whatever income we have.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you being
You're
here.
welcome. Thank you. If you want more information about the forum or if you want more information about the things that we've talked about, you can go to safeincometoday.com. We'll be right back.